Hi guys, so this is part 12 of What If Naruto Was Kamen Rider Faiz. So let's start. Chapter 29. Naruto's Travels Finale. The two riders were shook out of their sleep as Inoki came in. The old Kage said, "Well, since last night was such a success, I'll ask you again, who sent you?" It can't be a coincidence that Minato's son and Skull of all people team up to kill someone. Naruto and Sokichi said nothing like they did previously. Inoki sighed, if you don't say anything, you'll end up dead, Again, nothing. Inoki was growing impatient and said forcefully, "You know what, I won't kill you yet, you damn Namakes," but Skull on the other hand. He raised his hand as two Umbu came in and moved Sokichi towards an opening. Inoki said to Naruto, "I had my shinobi to get whatever they could on you too, and I know he's incredibly important to you and vice versa. I would kill you, but that'd cause a war with Konoha and I don't want to get my forces killed because of you, so I'm gonna make you suffer. Umbu, do it." The two Umbu nodded and flashed through a set of hand signs before saying in unison, "Doton, Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu." The two Umbu went underground and grabbed Sokichi's legs each before pulling him down, chains and all, leaving only the head there. Inoki snapped his fingers as the Umbu began to kick Sokichi in the face multiple times. The Kage then said, "Now, Namakes, I'll ask you, why did you kill the man you killed? Who sent you to do it? Was it the Hokage? Or was it another person or force?" Before Naruto could say anything, Sokichi shouted, "Don't tell him anything, Naruto." Inoki chuckled as he looked at Sokichi, "Such an honorable man, yet look at you, kicked in the face yet you still want to protect your allies. So Namakes, you have about a minute before my Umbu kills him. Do you want him to die?" Inoki then walked to a chair and sat down, watching them. Naruto was turning inside. 1. He could tell Inoki about how they got the mission and maybe get Sokichi saved from death, but might get Haku, Zabuza, and the Oni Kyudai in trouble. Or 2. He could keep quiet and let Sokichi get killed while protecting the others, maybe getting himself killed in the process as well. While he was thinking, the minute quickly passed. Inoki looked at Naruto. "I see, you'd rather let him die. Umbu, kill him." The Umbu started to use chakra-enhanced kicks. Naruto's eyes widened and quickly said, "Stop. I'll tell you. Just stop." Inoki simply stared at Naruto. "Too late, let this be a reminder to you, boy. There are times if you don't make the choice, the ones you care for will die. We'll continue this tomorrow." He stood up and left, the Umbu still kicking Sokichi. Naruto tried to struggle and break through the chains, but the attempts were futile. After around 100 kicks from both Umbu, they added more chakra to their legs and gave one last kick. Then blood flew everywhere, a head rolled on the ground. Despair hit Naruto, and inside him, something cracked. He then began releasing huge amounts of energy. He growled as he pulled his arms and pushed his legs, the chains straining from the force. Inoki felt the energy surge as he was about to go to his office. He then went back into the prison. The old foolish Kage's eyes widened as Naruto broke out of the chains, ripping through them like paper as the chains shattered like glass. Naruto's eyes glowed a deep dark blue. The belt materialized as he flicked open the Faiz phone and dialed 555 and pressed enter, standing by. Naruto growled silently, "Henshin. Complete." Then in Naruto's place stood Kamen Rider Faiz, the energy output making Inoki sweat. He yelled, "Umbu." A few teams of Umbu appeared, ready to fight as Inoki went back to gather his forces in Rashi, as he knew Naruto had just become more dangerous that very moment. With Zabuza and Ko, they were still in Tsuchi no Kuni. Zabuza turned and faced them. "We're going back, they should still be alive." Before anyone could reply, they all felt a large power surge flowing from Iwagakure. Zabuza and Haku's eyes widened. "Naruto." Zabuza yelled at the Oni Kyudai as Haku started to run towards the village. "Move, that's Naruto's chakra. He's still alive, we gotta save him." The brothers nodded as the four began speeding towards IWA, and they were greeted with a sight to behold. A few moments before Zabuza stopped, Naruto with his sword drawn, charged the few teams of Umbu. Normally, doing so was suicide, but Naruto wasn't like before. He didn't hold back like he always did unconsciously. Charging his sword with chakra, he began slashing through the Umbu like a knife through melting butter. Two Ambu flashed through hand signs and yelled, Futun, Detapa/Ketun, Endin. The wind empowered the flames and sent a huge wave of flames at Naruto. Naruto simply looked at the flames and did nothing to stop it. The attack hit as the Ambu thought it would be over. But they were shocked to the core when the flames began to swirl into the Faiz core, revealing Naruto in Excel form. At this moment, more Ambu appeared. In fact, all of the village's Ambu were present by now. Anoki and Rashi were preparing to go to war, against a boy who hasn't even graduated from the academy yet. Naruto pressed his watch as it announced, "Start up." Then the 10 minutes of hell began for the forces of IWA. Not unlike during the Third Shinobi War, which Minato Harassed around killing Iwa's forces, Naruto blurred around and began slashing the Ambu. Still in startup mode, Naruto slid the Faiz shot on his fist and began running, executing the Excel Grand Impact as more than half of the Ambu were killed. With a minute left in his startup mode, Naruto put the Faiz pointer on his legs and jumped up, shooting photon rays at the remaining Ambu before killing all of them in a second, leaving the ground full of dead Ambu. Then the time was up as Naruto's watch announced, 3, 2, 1. Time up. At this point, Zabuza and Ko arrived and were gifted with the sight of the area littered with Ambu corpses. Only then did Anoki and Rashi decide to show up. Anoki clapped, "I must say, killing all of my Ambu in such a short time, truly an impressive feat, but this is where it will all end." The 2S ranked shinobi then charged the rider, who raised his sword and blocked a blow from Rashi. Naruto jumped away and swung his sword, unleashing a wave of energy at the two. The two shinobi flashed through hand signs and said in unison, "Doton, Dorihiki." Two walls of mud stacked together and took the blast head-on. Naruto stabbed his sword on the ground and flashed through a set of hand signs, Ninpo, Sakura Panisha. A skull made of energy appeared as Naruto jumped up, kicking it down aiming at Inoki and Rashi. During one of their travels, Sokichi had taught Naruto his strongest technique, which was the Sakura Panisha. Just think his finisher attack, and this will be the only time Naruto uses it. The two shinobi were blasted away by the attack as they didn't expect it. Naruto then slid the mission memory into the Faiz edge and pressed enter on his phone, at the same time charging massive amounts of chakra into the sword, making the beam grow even larger. Then Naruto swung the blade. Unfortunately, Anoki and Rashi dodged the attack. But the village and the other shinobi heading towards them, not so much. A third of Iwa's forces were killed and half of the village was demolished by that single swing. Anoki decided to quickly end this and formed hand signs, saying, "Doton, Chokajigen no Jutsu." Unlike last time, Naruto anticipated this and quickly substituted with Rashi, making him take the attack head-on as a human-sized crater appeared with Rashi in it. Anoki's eyes widened as he released the jutsu. Suddenly, Naruto's sword came swinging at him and was dodged thanks to Anoki's short height. In his whole life, Anoki realized just how much his height had helped him and he thanked the gods for letting him grow short. Naruto then placed the mission memory into his Faiz phone and pressed enter, the Faiz pointer still on his leg and jumped. The beam aimed at Anoki but before it hit, Rashi pushed his brother out of the way and took the hit. Anoki realized what happened and quickly flashed through hand signs, Doton, Kajugen no Jutsu. Naruto's weight increased as his aim faltered and he ended up destroying a building instead. Naruto growled as he failed to kill at least one of them. With Zabuza, Haku, Meizu and Gozu, they were shocked to see Naruto so strong, but Haku was worried for Naruto as he was showing signs of going berserk. She turned to Zabuza, "Zabuza-sama, we need to get Naruto-kun. If this keeps up, he'll lose for sure." Zabuza nodded. While Naruto seemed to be winning, he'd tire down soon as he was using strong attacks while the two IWA shinobi were on defensive, yet still fine, even if Naruto came really close to killing the Yanbi Jinchuriki. As Naruto stood up, Zabuza saw the chance and flashed through hand signs, Suiton, Kirigakure no Jutsu. Mist appeared and covered the area as he said to Haku, "Haku, reverse his transformation, quickly and put him in a death-like state. Meizu, Gozu, search the prison, Sokichi might be alive. Meet back at our closest safe house." Haku nodded and shot forward, taking away Naruto's phone as she reached him and stuck Senbon on Naruto's neck. Luckily, she moved so fast Naruto failed to react in time so she succeeded in taking him away. As for Gozu and Meizu, they found Sokichi's head and body, they sealed his dead body and head away and got out of IWA. Soon, the mist cleared and Inoki and Rashi looked around, no Naruto nor the one responsible for the mist. Inoki looked at his village, seeing the damage done by the one little boy, albeit a godlike boy, but still a boy in cursed, honor, Namikaze. With the group, they were all at the safe house. Zabuza asked, "So Gozu, Meizu, what did you find on Sokichi?" Gozu and Meizu looked down. "He's dead. I think that's why Naruto let himself loose." Zabuza looked down as well. Haku was sad as well, then she asked, "What do you mean Naruto-kun let himself loose?" Zabuza stared at her and said, "Naruto has always been holding back unconsciously. I think it's because he hasn't found an opponent that can make him try hard enough to go all out. Just now is what Naruto's truly capable of, and I don't think it's the full of his abilities yet." Haku nodded as she went to take away the needles that kept Naruto unconscious. As soon as she did, Naruto shot straight up and saw Haku. He was confused. What the hell? What happened? 1 minute I was fighting those two fucking bastards and now I'm here. Zabuza answered, "Haku took off your phone and sent you into a death-like state. If you kept on the way you fought, you'd die when you're exhausted. And don't even think about going back, I won't let you go." Naruto sighed, "Fine, did you retrieve Sokichi-san's body?" Gozu and Meizu nodded, giving Naruto the scroll. Naruto nodded his thanks and went out to bury the corpse. The others wanted to follow, but Zabuza stopped them. "Let him do it alone, he was closer to him than any of us were. He'll want a few moments alone with him." They nodded. And after a while, Naruto came in and said, "Zabuza, Haku-chan, Gozu, Meizu, this is where we'll part ways. I'm gonna train hard and I still have a few months before I'm returning back to Konoha anyway. So hopefully I'll see you again." Before they could say anything, Naruto vanished in a poof of smoke. Zabuza chuckled, "Well I'll be, the Gaki used a Kage Bunshin." Haku had tears rolling down her face, he didn't even let us say goodbye. Gozu and Meizu sighed and said, "He said he was returning to Konoha, so we might see him if we go there." Haku nodded as they went on with their travels. Chapter 30. In Konoha, 2 years after Naruto left, Hikari and Haruna were on their way to the academy. As the girls walked, they noticed the Uchiha sisters and Hinata with Sasuke and his oh-so-loyal fangirl, the Pink Banshee, the Screaming Pink of Terror, and otherwise known as the daughter of the biggest whore in Konoha, Haruno Sakura. Hikari and Haruna greeted their friends and Sasuke, meanwhile totally ignoring Sakura. The Uzumaki Namikaze sisters only put up with Sasuke since he was Yuki and Suki's brother, albeit an adoptive one, but the Uchiha sisters still love him, even if he was an ass sometime. As they walked, enjoying the silence, Sasuke broke the ice and asked, "Haruna, would you like to join me for lunch later?" Haruna groaned inwardly. This was most likely the 100th time of the year he asked her out. Even if she always turned him down, he didn't give up. And worst of all, Yuki, Suki and Hikari seldom did anything unless Sasuke went out of line, which was a massive headache for her. Haruna wanted Naruto, not Sasuke. Haruna stared at the Uchiha, using the patented ice glare that was famous among herself, Hikari, Suki, Yuki and Hinata. Sasuke slightly recoiled at the cold glare but recovered quickly. Haruna said, "How many times do I have to tell you, Sasuke? I don't want to go out with you, the only reason I haven't beat you to dust is because you're Yuki-chan and Suki-chan's brother, so don't think otherwise." She was about to turn away but one Sakura cut in, "You fucking idiot. Do you know what it means for Sasuke Koen, the direct descendant of Uchiha Madara, to ask you out? Girls give an arm and leg to do that." The girls, decent ones anyway, sighed. This had repeated a lot of times. But this time, Haruna couldn't take it anymore. She stared at Sakura and said coldly, "I'm not one of you, so don't put me in your category, you useless excuse of a kunoichi, and don't bitch about that. If you want to prove me wrong, prove it later in the taijutsu class." And so the group proceeded with their journey to the academy, without the Banshee and her master. They soon reached the academy and class proceeded as usual. Soon, it was recess time, and the 5 girls were sitting at their usual place. No one dared to take it as the 5 girls were the top of their year. Suki and Yuki topped ninjutsu and genjutsu, Hinata and Haruna topped taijutsu while Hikari was all-rounded, maintaining second in everything while the girls took third in whatever sector they weren't the first. As they ate, one dog boy came in and ruined their time. Kiba asked Hinata-chan, will you go out with me later? Hinata sighed, like Haruna, she was closing on her limit, she said without turning, no, I'm busy later. Now get lost, Kiba. Kiba looked disappointed and just walked away, still determined to get her as his mate, even if a small tiny voice known as logic told him he was never gonna succeed. A few dozen minutes passed and they were now standing on the sparring field. Irika said, okay, today we're gonna do something special. Today we're gonna have a mixed 5-on-5 match, get your teams, only one team can have the same gender since there isn't an even number of boys and girls here. As soon as he said that, Hikari, Haruna, Yuki, Suki and Hinata grouped together and gave Irika their names as a team. This caused Sasuke and Kiba to curse as they wanted to be on Haruna and Hinata's team respectively, while the other students groaned as the girls were gonna win this for sure. They formed their teams and waited for instructions. Irika took their names and nodded, okay, so we're gonna have our first match, Team G1, which is Hinata, Haruna, Hikari, Suki and Yuki versus Team G2, which is Sasuke, Kiba, Sakura, Ino, and Ami. Others stand outside the ring, so Hajime. Like a team that has fought side by side for years, the girls moved in complete sync, surprising the two Chunin instructors for a bit before they realized the girls knew each other since they were infants, which was true in a way as their parents would gather when their mothers were pregnant with them. Hinata handled Kiba, with the latter a bit hesitant to hurt his crush, which meant it became easy for Hinata. Hikari fought Ino, Haruna fought Sakura as Yuki and Suki fought Sasuke and Ami respectively. Hinata gave a Juken strike to Kiba's abdomen as he was blown away and hit a tree, which was out of the ring. Irika sighed at the anticlimactic and quick end for Kiba and announced, as Kiba was flung out of the ring, he is out of the fight. The fight continued as Hinata joined the fight against Sakura, not that Haruna needed it. Haruna saw Hinata coming at Sakura from behind, which was unknown to the weak Banshee, and shot to the left, while Hinata shot to the right. Both heiresses then shot forward and gave two side punches, just imagine a side lariat from the two of them, to Sakura, and said Banshee had the air knocked out of her, but still conscious. Hinata juken her upwards as Haruna jumped up and spun, kicking the Banshee down into the ground, knocking her. Imagine Fire Tornado from Inazuma 11 without the fire. With Hikari, the two blondes were matching blow for blow, which was just Hikari going easy on the other blonde, just to give Ino overconfidence before knocking her out. As Ino parried Hikari's punch with her own, Hikari decided she had played enough and just spun around and gave Ino a strike to the neck, knocking her out. Imagine Kirito's 4 horizontal slash in Iseo without the first, second, and final strikes. Yuki and Suki were also faring well, as Ami and Sasuke's teamwork could only be described with one word, that is suck. Ami thought she could take the Uchiha sisters on herself, as to prove to Sasuke she wasn't weak, and that totally backfired. Ami was knocked out quickly by the combo attacks from Yuki and Suki, leaving Sasuke left. Sasuke cursed as he noticed all of his team members were down for the count and he was the last man standing, literally. The 5 girls surrounded Sasuke and under normal circumstances, for Naruto anyway, it would be nice, but this ain't normal circumstances, so there was only one ending for the not-so-poor Uchiha, sweet unconsciousness from the pain of having his balls kicked repeatedly. After school, the girls parted ways and went back home. As soon as they went in, Hikari and Haruna went cold as they noticed their parents and godparents. They still resented them for driving their beloved brother away from home. Kushina smiled at her daughters and said, "You're home, welcome back, Hikari-chan, Haruna-chan." The 2 girls replied in a monotone voice, "Hi, Kazama." They then went back to their rooms. The adults sighed, the girls were like that since Naruto left. While they regretted treating Naruto the way they did, they still hadn't learned their lesson. The afternoon passed peacefully and dinner soon came. The family ate at the table quietly until Hikari asked, "Tusama, Kazama, Jiraiya Jiji, Tsunade-ba-chan, why did you treat Oniai-chan like that? If you treated him like you did us, he wouldn't have left." Minato sighed sadly, "Hikari-chan, we know we were wrong. We're gonna make it up to him when he comes back." Haruna scowled, "That's not the answer we want. Do you even know what you did wrong?" The adults were silent as they actually didn't. Hikari continued, "When we asked why Oniai-chan didn't join us in training, you said you'd teach him later. When we asked Oniai-chan about it, he said he didn't get training. He even said he was happy we got training before him. We know you ignored him because he wasn't like us, he didn't have the QB in him nor did he have anything special. You told us most of the shinobi were all white slides waiting to be colored, that's what made the famous ones famous, you four yourselves included, yet here you are judging Oniai-chan because he didn't have anything special, you're all hypocrites. The girls got up and went to wash their plates before heading back to their rooms, leaving four silent adults thinking about what they said, and the words only go through one person, which was the most unlikely of them all, Minato. He realized what went wrong, they didn't care for him truly, they just wanted Naruto's power in the past, and that made him guilty. As for the others, they were still in the dark. The girls walked into their brother's room and fell on the bed. Sometimes, when they were having a bad day, they'd go into their brother's room for the night as it was a reminder of their brother, which always served to calm them down. It didn't fail its job this time as the girls felt the anger dissipate as they fell asleep, muttering for their brother while they slept. Chapter 31. Now, Naruto, Hikari, Haruna, Kushina, Tsunade, Shizen and Jiraiya were standing in front of Minato. The Hokage said, Team 7, your mission today, as much as I detest it, is to escort Tsunade and Shizen here to Tanzakugai for her sake in gambling. You'll be there for a week and return with the two of them. Seriously, Tsunade, I don't know why are you issuing this mission, you are perfectly capable of going there on your own. Shizen sighed, well, if there isn't a team or Kushina at least to keep her in line, I doubt we'll return in a week, instead we'll be there for a month at least. So that's why we issued this mission. Kushina snickered at that while Tsunade looked annoyed. The three siblings and Jiraiya just sweat-dropped. Kushina straightened up and said, okay, enough, we'll meet at the gates tomorrow morning at 7. Pack for a week-long journey, dismissed. The family headed back to the compound to pack and rest. As they went in, they were greeted by the Saihaku sitting on the couch and Kin and Tayuya in French-made outfits. The two sisters smiled and bowed to Naruto slightly saying, Naruto-sama. This got a sweat drop from Naruto, Hikari, Haruna, Kushina, and Tsunade. As for Jiraiya, he grabbed Naruto's shoulders and shook him before kneeling on the ground. Naruto, tell me, how did you get them to do this? You are more worthy than I am. Please allow me the honor of passing the Aiko to you, my godson. This got Tsunade and Kushina to grow tick marks on their heads and punch Jiraiya, flinging him away. The teens in the room just chuckled at the scene. As Naruto went into his room, Hikari and Haruna approached Kin and Tayuya as soon as Naruto's door slammed shut. The Uzumaki Namikaze sisters and Haku led the Tsuchi sisters to their room and closed the door. The blonde and redhead asked them, so, Kin-chan, Tayuya-chan, what do you think of Oniai-chan? Several thoughts came to their minds, and none of them didn't involve them and Naruto in a relationship. Tayuya and Kin shook out of their thoughts and asked, what do you mean? Haku sighed and said, well, let's just get to the point, we want to know if you like Naruto-kun. Tayuya and Kin merely blushed, which was an answer enough. Hikari smiled, we'll take that as a yes then. Tayuya and Kin nodded. Haruna then said, if you like him, then you two should go for him, I mean he does have the CRA on him, plus the three of us, Hinata-chan, Yuki-chan and Suki-chan plus one more are already in the CRA with him. Tayuya and Kin nodded slowly, before what Haruna said hit them. They pointed at Haruna and Hikari and said, but we thought you're his sisters. Hikari, Haruna and Haku chuckled. Hikari said, our clan doesn't forbid this kind of relationship. In fact, our parents encouraged us for this. Tayuya and Kin were a little freaked out. Tayuya said, but dating his own sisters, that's just so wrong. Haruna sighed, that would be the same as being a racist. It's merely another form of love, just not seen so much and supported by people. The two still couldn't take it in. Haku decided to change the subject, and said, so, since we still have a day before we leave for our mission, I say you two go tell him about your feelings and knowing him, he might take you two on a date later. The Tsuchi sisters nodded and walked out of the room, still thinking about Hikari, Haruna, and Naruto's relationship. Unknowingly, they were heading for Naruto's room and by the time they realized it, they were in front of the door just as Naruto came out. Naruto saw them and asked, Kin-chan, Tayuya-chan, you two want something? The girls looked at each other and steeled their resolve before saying, Ano, Naruto-sama, may we talk inside? Naruto was confused but nodded anyway as he led them inside. Tayuya closed the door as Naruto asked, "So, what's wrong?" Kin shook her head, "Nothing's wrong, it's just..." Tayuya finished quickly in one go, "We like you and wanna be in your harem." She had said it too quickly, so Naruto asked, "What? What's this about you two and a harem?" Kin realized her sister's mistake and said, more slowly, "We know you're under the CRA, and we like you, so we want to be in your CRA." Naruto blinked, okay?" Kin and Tayuya beamed and lumped Naruto with a crushing hug. Naruto started to turn blue and gasped out, "Kin-chan, Tayuya-chan, can't breathe." The girls heard this and quickly let go, letting Naruto take a deep breath. Naruto said, "Thank you. So, since we have a day before my mission, why not we go on a date later? You two could take turns or I'll just take the two of you out together." The sisters smiled at each other and said, "We want you to take us out together." Naruto's sweat dropped at their smiling faces and nodded. Unknowingly, Jiraiya was outside scribbling notes furiously. He giggled silently. "Oh, Naruto truly is a goldmine. Goldmine. I hope I can see some action soon, then I can plan a new book." Unfortunately for him, Tsunade just so happened to pass by and saw him doing his so-called research. She grew a tick mark and rushed forward and gave the pervert Sannin a chakra-enhanced knuckle sandwich. Back with the teens, Naruto, Kin and Tayuya were now walking on the streets. They told Hikari, Haruna and Haku about their new development and went for their date. As they walked, Naruto asked, "You girls want to try some ramen?" Kin and Tayuya shrugged and replied, "Sure, why not?" Naruto grinned and held both of their hands, making them blush as he harassed them to Ikaraku's. Years ago, before the Kyuubi attack, Minato and Kushina always visited the ramen stand and Minato gave Tuchi a Hiraishin kunai to let him reach there quickly anytime. Naruto learned of this a few weeks back and would use it when he wanted ramen. As the three sat down, Ayame asked, "So, Naruto, you already have two more girls for the CRA? You work fast." Naruto sighed, "Ayame-san, can you not?" The waitress giggled and said, "Fine, so what do you three want?" Naruto looked at the girls who were trying to decide what ramen to have. He sighed and said, "I'll have two shoyu ramens, one pork ramen for Tayuya-chan and beef ramen for Kin-chan." Ayame smiled and said, "Got it, two-san, two shoyu ramen, one pork and one beef ramen." Tuchi shouted back in response as he went to work. Soon, the ramen were served as the three enjoyed the soft noodles and the sweet smell of the soup. As they were finishing, Itachi came in with Shisui. The two Uchiha smiled at Naruto. "Naruto, so already two more? You work fast." Naruto glared at Itachi and Shisui. "Speak for yourselves, how are things going for you and Nanaro-san, Hyuga, Shisui-san?" Said Uchiha blushed while Itachi snickered at him. Naruto then said, "What about you and Hana-san, Itachi-san?" It was Itachi's turn to get flustered. He quickly said, "Your ramen's getting cold, Naruto. Anyway, we'll be going then." Naruto immediately went back to his ramen and didn't heard the last part. When he finished, he looked around and couldn't find the Uchiha duos. Kin and Tayuya giggled, "You were too focused on your ramen, Naruto-sama." Naruto sighed, but the ramen was getting cold. "Never mind, come on, I want to show you two something." The girls got up and followed Naruto up to the Hokage monument. Tayuya and Kin were confused. The redhead asked, "Naruto-kun, why are we dashed?" She was cut off as she saw the beautiful view of Konoha from the top of the monument. Kin was just as awestruck by the view as it was in the evening already and the sun was setting. Kin said, "Beautiful, I never knew Konoha could look like this." Naruto chuckled, "Not many know about this, in fact, only my family knows about this as we are the only ones who even care to come up here." Tayuya and Kin nodded. As they sat on Minato's head, the monument, with the girls leaning their heads on either side of Naruto's shoulders, the sky soon turned dark. Naruto was about to tell them to go home but then heard even breathing. Naruto then noticed the girls were asleep. He thought they must have been exhausted from their time in Odo. He made a Kage Bunshin and had it carry Kin while he carried Tayuya back to the compound. The next day, Team 7, Tsunade, Shizune and Jiraiya were standing at the gates. Hikari asked, Oniya-chan, how did your date with Tayuya-chan and Kin-chan go? Naruto smiled, it went great. Kushina sighed, really Naruto, just because you have the CRA doesn't mean you should go for every girl you meet. Naruto stared at his mother and said, but I didn't do anything, they were the ones who approached me. Tsunade sighed, can we move yet? I want to reach there soon since the gambling and sake promotions start tonight and I'd rather not miss them. The others sweat dropped / chuckled at Tsunade's childish acts for sake and gambling before they headed out. Chapter 32. As the group walked, Naruto caught a glance of several figures speeding around them through the trees. The two remaining Sannin, Kushina, and Shizen noticed this as well. Hikari and Haruna also saw them once but kept quiet since they knew Naruto or any of the adults would have seen them if the two of them did. The group continued walking, pretending to not have noticed the people rushing around them discreetly. Inside the trees, the leader of the group smirked and snapped his fingers as his men went into motion. Soon, Team 7, the Sannin and Shizen were surrounded. The leader slowly walked out and said to the poker-faced shinobi, hand over your belongings with the women and maybe we'll let the two of you men go. Every shinobi present thought, or at least along the same lines, they seriously don't know who we are / are with us, huh? Naruto and Jiraiya facepalmed as what the bandit leader said sunk into the kunoichi's minds, which made them grew tick marks. Suddenly the bandits all had a bad feeling about targeting this very group. The females present all cracked their knuckles and walked towards the bandits slowly, their hair covering their eyes, making it all more scarier. With Naruto and Jiraiya, they were scared. Naruto asked, Jiraiya, is it strange I feel kinda turned on seeing Haruna-chan and Hikari-chan like this? Jiraiya shook his head, no, I felt like this when I was your age with Tsunade. So it ain't weird, but I kinda pity those men there. We're lucky we aren't the ones they're beating up. Naruto nodded as they watched the bandits get pounded to the ground by 5 furious kunoichi. Soon, the group of shinobi left a bunch of tied-up bandits on the road. Naruto and Jiraiya carefully kept their distance from the females of the group as they felt their anger haven't dispersed yet. Jiraiya said, as they reached a village halfway, I know we can reach Tanzaku-gai with shinobi speed, but since Tsunade wanted to move at civilian speed while wanting to reach there when the opening starts, we'll rest here for the night. Naruto sighed and muttered, bullshit, you just want to do your research on Aiko Aika. Luckily, none of the females heard it so Jiraiya was safe. They went into a hotel and got their rooms, Jiraiya on his own, Kushina, Tsunade and Shizen in one room and Naruto and the girls in the last room. Why Jiraiya had his own room? The women didn't trust him and the rooms they got could only fit 3 people at most. As they entered the rooms, they failed to notice 2 pair of eyes watching them intently, more specifically, Haruna and Hikari. As the teens laid on the beds, Kasumi's voice came to the 3, Naruto-kun, Hikari-chan, Haruna-chan. I sense 2 huge chakra signatures heading here. Naruto replied in surprise, Kasumi-chan, it's been a long time since you spoke to me. Kasumi replied, Gamen Naruto-kun, but I decided to tweak Hikari-chan and Haruna-chan's chakra systems a bit so they can handle more of my chakra than they can before. Hikari and Haruna asked, which means? Kasumi said, you two can use my chakra in Bijou form for a week straight without strain, unlike previously where you can only go Bijou mode for a few dozen minutes. The girls nodded mentally. Then they heard a knock on the door, and the trio felt 2 large sources of chakra. Kasumi said, they are the 2 sources of chakra, be careful. The siblings nodded in reply as Naruto opened the door, to see a blue-skinned man and a black-haired man, both wearing black robes with red clouds on it, both carrying swords. They were Hoshigaki Kisame and Fumushimu Damushu, missing Nuke-nin of Kiri and Hashigakure. Naruto asked, do the 2 of you want something? Kisame said, yes, we'd like those 2 girls inside to follow us for a moment. We have something to speak to them about. Naruto nodded, okay, I'll let them know, please wait here for a moment. As Naruto closed the door, Damusha said to Kisame, dude, you know what you said just now made us look like pedophiles and perverts? Kisame shrugged, well, it might just get us the Jinchuriki. We're lucky we cast the chakra cloaking jutsu before we came here, or we'll have to face 2 of the Sannin, the Akashura and a Jounin along with 2 Jinchuriki and Kamen rider fleas. We won't survive that. Damusha sighed and nodded in agreement. The 2 then tensed as they heard the door open. As soon as the door fully opened, a red beam shot out and would have killed the two missing nin if it wasn't for the years of experience of fighting Oinin. They landed at either side of the corridor as Naruto calmly walked out, holding the Metagaburyu in Kyoryu Orphanok form. The Orphanok was followed by his sisters/lovers in Bijou mode, facing the missing nin. Naruto said, "You must have used a high-level chakra cloaking technique to prevent my mother, my godparents, and Shizen-san from sensing us off? No matter, we won't need them to kill you too. It's a little cramped in here, let's change a place, shall we?" Without waiting for a response, Naruto threw a Hiraishin kunai onto the ground and the five vanished from the hotel as if nothing happened. The only proof of whatever happened was the open door that was slowly closing in the charred wall from Naruto's blast. The five appeared in a plain field. The town they were previously in was a few miles away and could be seen easily. Trees surrounded them as the night wind blew onto their faces. Naruto said, "Now we can fight without worrying the two Sannin, my mother and Shizen-san interfering." Kisame smirked, "You three think you can win?" He and Damusha drew their swords. Kisame had the Samahata, a sword with spiky scales instead of blades. Damusha had the Shimu, a red blade with a pommel at the end of the hilt. Damusha from Kamen Rider game if you haven't guessed by now, if not, search it on Google to Kamen Rider Wikia. The girls in Bijou mode looked at Naruto, who smirked, or Itachi with Shinjiro. The girls smiled, since they were facing S-ranked missing nin, and nodded. The missing nin smirked and they all charged. Naruto faced Kisame, since Naruto didn't use much chakra for his techniques while Haruna and Hikari fought Damushu. With Naruto, Kisame's attacks were futile against him as the spiky sword did little damage to Naruto's hard skin. But unfortunately for the Shark Man, Naruto's attacks were far from what his own did to said rider. Kisame was covered in cuts. The only reason he wasn't dead was due to his sword and reflexes. Naruto smirked as they parted, "What's wrong, Sushi? Tired already?" Kisame glared at the boy, "The bingo book must have been wrong, you're not an A-rank ninja, you're a fucking S-rank if not higher." Naruto laughed, "That was based on what I did in IWA. I trained harder, grew stronger, of course what IWA put there was wrong." Kisame cursed, his odds of surviving was incredibly low. And Damushu wasn't that far off, the girls were doing a good job keeping him busy, if not troubled. Chains erupted from the ground to impale the man, but he dodged skillfully, thanks to years of dodging bullet-fast jutsu. Damusha gathered chakra in his hands as a ball of fire emerged in his hands. He thrust his hands as the ball flew at the two Jinchuriki, who sent a wall of yellow Yuki to stop the blast before using said Yuki to grab Damushu. The missing nin jumped away and swung his sword down, sending a wave of chakra that dispersed the Yuki, to Naruto and the sisters' surprise. Damusha smirked and said, "We Akatsuki are more than just missing nin, we have abilities to subdue the Jinchuriki, rendering their Bijou useless. For example, I can disperse Yuki with my sword while Kisame's Samahata can eat chakra, which means he can turn the Jinchuriki's own chakra against them. You have no chance at defeating us." With Naruto and Kisame, the Shark Man wanted to facepalm at Damusha, revealing their secrets to the enemies. Naruto chuckled, "Seems your friend isn't so bright." Kisame groaned, "You have no idea, he always rant about power and shit but always rely on me to get his ass safe." Naruto chuckled before they charged again. Naruto swung his axe upwards while Kisame swung his sword downwards, blades clashed as sparks flew. They locked blades and glared at each other. Suddenly Naruto's wings shot out and blew a torrent of icy wind at Kisame, blowing him away. Naruto dropped his axe as it melted back into the ground, forming hand signs that were taught by Haku. Naruto said as he flashed through the seals, "You're not half bad, but Zabuza Nii is stronger than you. He beat me once, but that was because he caught me off guard. Your time has come, Hoshigaki Kisame." Kisame's eyes widened at Zabuza's name, or rather, how Naruto said the name with such closeness. The Shark Man quickly flashed through a set of seals as Naruto landed on his final seal. They both shout out, Kisame a tad bit later, Hayatan, Kuriryudan no Jutsu / Suiton, Suikoden no Jutsu. The Ice Dragon and Water Shark clashed. Though the Ice Dragon melted a little, it ended up being victorious and slammed into Kisame, though it did less damage but stunned Kisame nonetheless. Naruto took advantage and jumped up. powering his energy into his legs and came down kicking. The aim was true and the attack hit Kisame right in the neck, killing him and cutting his head off in the process. Naruto landed as the head landed a few meters from him. Naruto sealed the head away for the bounty before focusing on Hikari and Haruna's fight. The girls decided to change tactics and turned off their Bijou mode. They then threw a Hiraishin Kunai each, and said in unison, Hiraishin Kunai Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. The Hiraishin Kunai all multiplied in an instant, landing on the ground as Demushu was forced to dodge. The girls then vanished in a flash of yellow and appeared around Demushu, slashing him with kunai and occasionally drilling him with a Rasengan. Then the girls appeared behind Demushu holding an enormous Rasengan together yelling, Korido Warada! Sho Odama Rasengan! The attack slammed into Demushu, blowing him away. The girls watched as Demushu crashed into a boulder and cheered while doing the high five. Naruto smiled and walked towards them. Hikari immediately said, Oniai-chan, did you see that? We beat him. Naruto merely smiled and nodded. Naruto was about to collect the head when a voice stopped him. Not bad, but next time, I won't be so dumb to fall for that. Until then. The dust cleared, and Demushu was nowhere to be seen. Naruto sighed and looked at the girls, who looked a bit dejected over the fact they didn't actually beat the man. Naruto smiled at them, making them blush. Hey, don't feel bad, it's still your victory, so cheer up. The girls nodded with smiles on their faces as they headed back to the hotel. As they went to their room, they opened the door to find 3 pissed-off adults and 1 grinning Sannin. Tsunade asked, and where have you 3 been? Naruto replied casually, fighting Kisame and Demushu. The answer threw them back. Kushina recovered first. What do you mean? Naruto unsealed Kisame's head and showed them. Turns out Kisame and Demushu are part of an organization called the Akatsuki. They collect the Bijou, mostly for the Jubi if I'm right. Kasumi's voice piped into his mind. Yes, the only purpose of gathering Bijou would be to revive the Jubi, which is disastrous for us. Naruto thanked her mentally for telling him. Kushina's eyes narrowed. You 3 fought against 2 S-ranked missing Nin together? What were you thinking? Naruto simply stared at her. Kazama, my status in the bingo book cannot compare to what I am now. Hikari-chan and Haruna-chan have Kasumi-chan's Yuki to use. If need be, I could summon Dragor-sama to help where the girls could go Bijou on them. Look at us, we're fine now. You don't need to worry, and we're not at our peak yet. The sisters nodded at that. Kushina rubbed her temples. Shizen then said, but still, you could have been killed. Naruto stared at her this time and said, Shizen-san, you insult us with that comment, especially me. Then Shizen realized who she was talking to and apologized. Sorry, I forgot you aren't a regular genin. Naruto nodded in acceptance. Jiraiya grinned at them. Well, I'm not gonna scold you. So, nice job killing the shark face. We'll collect your bounty when we go back to Konoha. Naruto and the sisters nodded. Kushina then said, let's just rest. You 3 must be tired from fighting them. The siblings didn't protest and went to sleep. To be continued.